Mr. Evans. This video is the final one on organisational structures, looking at the different influences on organisational structures. So I'm going to cover, talk about organisational design, organisational structure, same thing, covering these points here on the specification. What are the influences on organisational structure? So we've got our flat tool structures, there are other structures as well. It doesn't list them in the specification, but what would influence the structure that a business decides to use, whether it's going to use centralised or decentralised decision making tool or flat structures? Well, first of all, the corporate objectives. You have to have an organisation that is designed in a way that is going to allow you to hit your corporate objectives. All right, maybe that's cost minimisation, and we're struggling to survive, and we need to make sure we're minimising our costs. In which case, we might take a centralised approach where management are keeping a real eye on costs. They're making all the decisions centrally. Trying to gain economies of scale. Or we might be following a really innovative approach where we're allowing our staff freedom to come up with ideas, in which case a decentralised flat structure might be a better approach. The nature of the product is going to be important. If we're producing mass producing, low cost goods, fast food, consistency required, etc., we might go for quite a centralised tool hierarchy where we can just monitor what's going on, make sure everything's okay, versus perhaps a really high quality, innovative type product, bespoke design, tailoring, etc., where workers are really skillful. Perhaps in that situation we'd use a different approach, a flatter hierarchy where we give workers responsibility and we trust them to get on with things. Manufactured goods versus services may require different types of structure. The management attitude to staff will be important. Okay, is the staff take a theory X approach to management, i.e. that the workers are motivated by money only, can't really be trusted, don't want responsibility, or do we think that workers are intrinsically motivated, will do a good job, and therefore it's our responsibility to leave them alone, provide an organisational structure in which they can make decisions, perform and be responsible. The skill and experience of staff, okay, if we've got a very young staff, if we've got a lot of part-time workers, temporary workers, holiday workers, etc., that sort of organisation might lend itself to a centralised decision making, because basically staff don't have the skill or expertise to make decisions, whereas in a company with a very experienced staff, highly qualified, maybe they'd be able to make better decisions, and so we look for a decentralised approach. The business size and ownership, a small family-run business is likely to have a very different structure to a large PLC, and the attitude to risk and innovation that a business has. Right, if we really risk averse, we don't want people taking chances, we want to monitor what's going on, then a centralised tool structure. Whereas if we're quite happy for there to be a little bit of risk, we believe that we innovate when we take risks, then a decentralised, flatter approach might be appropriate.